All right. I'm just going to share my slides.
Oh, wait, I have to give you permission.
Oh, absolutely. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Because everybody see my slides? Awesome. All right. I'm going to get started. So, all right. Imagine a tech ecosystem that not only empowers professional women to excel without burning out, but also catalyzes transformation across the organization for improved performance. Good morning, everybody. My name is Sandra Veledar, and I'm here to introduce I.Liv. As a VP of technology for 5 years, I was a top performer building agile teams that supported significant business growth. Yet at the peak of my career, I hit a wall. Burnout derailed my life outside of work, but I really didn't want to pump the brakes on my career. I needed a sustainable way forward. Solving this for myself first, I realized it wasn't just a me problem. It's a critical issues organizations face today. Consider Jane, a mid-career professional woman. She's ambitious, she's skilled and proud to be a top performer at work, but she faces an unequivocal challenge. She's 1.3 times more likely than her male counterpart to opt out of taking the next career step or the workforce altogether. And this is not due to lack of ambition, skill, but due to burnout and poor work-life balance. She will likely suffer. Jane is one of many. Women make up nearly half of the workforce at entry, but this number significantly dwindles down as she looks to advance her career. And this is a big problem for organizations. The silent exodus represents a significant loss in expertise, leadership, and innovation potential, and is costing organizations millions in lost talent and productivity every year. Companies recognize this and are trying to fix it, but the current ways of approaching it are not solving the problem at scale. Employee assistance programs put the onus on the individual to figure it out, and often in reactive mode. Internal resource groups and programs are helpful, but provide variable impact. Traditional leadership development programs cherry pick who gets the benefits and are inherently not scalable. Women's networks provide connections and formalize the challenges, but don't lead to practical solutions. And well-being platforms address a single pillar of the problem. These are all helpful and can make a positive impact, but don't solve the problem consistently at scale. Introducing I.Liv, the tech platform designed to empower and equip professional women to excel without burning out and while also transforming the organization for improved performance. We take a different approach altogether. We proactively build an environment that paves the way to address the challenge of competing priorities at the root and at the individual level, leveraging tools and resources organizations already have available. The women themselves use business and project delivery approaches that they know, and this time put them to use on themselves, not just for delivering out. And we scale across the organization for org-wide impact using internal resources that are already deployed. Integrated into the fiber of the organization, I.Liv enables better use of the other L&D benefits already that are already there. You really have to know how to manage your priorities effectively to use flex time and reduce work weeks, etc. At its core, I.Liv is a practical life operating system or framework for individuals that is powered by a mobile app and designed to help people focus on doing the right things across all aspects of life. We lead individuals to crush their goals without crashing themselves in the process. However, the problem we tackle is complex, rooted in behavioral, cultural, and systemized challenges. So it requires more than just putting the app into the hands of women. So we've developed a wraparound approach that goes beyond the app itself. Our mission is to provide organizations a high impact, low cost solution that is scalable across the org. But because organizations don't change, people do, let's start by highlighting the I.Liv user experience. Here's how it works. I.Liv leads users to set direction and drive focus by keeping the long-term vision and short-term goals at the forefront daily, giving them clarity on what to prioritize. We use a simple yet powerful JAR concepts for priority management, getting users to focus on the big rocks first. This is a key tool and practice to align daily energy investment and activities into meaningful outcomes that we're striving for, and in turn, help us confidently say no to the other things. A committed plan becomes a roadmap for winning the day, shifting the usual reactive hustle of overwhelm by endless tasks to a proactive, outcome-based approach. Users reflect on choices made through a simple trade-off analysis, promoting continuous learning and improvement, and the summary results of their energy investments provide clear awareness of where the time and energy are being spent, driving better decisions moving forward. The app aggregates these daily results and serves back some powerful data and key performance indicators that are hard to measure otherwise, such as a realistic daily pace, traction against goals, and a measure of life balance. We can build upon the foundational system with our tech-powered leadership development solution for developing leaders at every level who apply business acumen directly to their role within the organization, closing the gap between strategy and execution with a daily leadership practice that aligns individual priorities with corporate business objectives. Proactively investing minutes per day at a cadence that works for the individual level, users report a significant boost in self-confidence and sense of control over life and work, increased effective productivity, and an improved life balance. Research ties these hard-to-achieve outcomes to retention and success in the workplace, and we aim to show this as well as we get to scale. I.Liv is not just an app, it's a full-stack solution for organizational performance and well-being. We started by developing the tech tool itself, but learned really quickly that women need more to change fundamentally the way that they are operating. So over the past 2 years, we haven't just bootstrapped a technology build, but we've developed the full value cycle required to drive adoption, engagement, and retention. Our Connect, Learn, Action approach brings women together in cohort-based user groups for support and accountability, includes customizable mastermind programming with e-learning tools to support various learning styles, and integrates the technology, the app itself, for putting learnings into action sustainably. Frankly, I.Liv is the solution I wish I had at the start of my career. Could have saved me a lot of the collateral damage I suffered. And it's something that Jane really needs to succeed in the world today and avoid the pitfalls that so many other professional women face. This full stack approach combines the cutting edge technology with community-driven support and that turns users into change agents and exponentially scales our impact. Let me show you how. At its core, I.Liv scales through a train-the-trainer model, allowing organizations to tap into internal change makers, such as change management or L&D trainers whose roles already align with this approach, or volunteering women leaders or information change agents eager to give back. This is not about adding extra work, but about maximizing the impact of the hours already being invested. Seamlessly integrating into the existing resources, we equip trainers and volunteers to scale the solution within the organization organically and effectively. And together, this creates the scalable model of change that's resonating with our target clients, such as PwC Canada and CIMA Plus, who expressed interest in deploying the train-the-trainer model right away. The pricing model is aligned with the standard enterprise SaaS model. The one-time onboarding fee includes activating the I.Liv operating system and empowering the first group of internal change makers. And then this is followed by an enterprise SaaS ARR. The licenses includes all the elements of the full stack solution I presented and are aligned with the size of the org. So with tier 1, we're looking at organizations up to 1,000 employees, tier 2 up to 3,000, and so on. Our go-to-market strategy is to work with mid to large-size organizations in consulting, technology, and finance sectors. In Canada and US alone, there are over 30,000 of these target organizations. Over the past 18 months, we worked with over 100 professional women in various test and learn cycles, and those experiences have earned us strong advocates in the market that are bringing us to their organizations and filling the top of our sales funnel. Specifically, the success of 2 pilot participants led us to a corporate win at Farm Boy last month. CGI and Botsford were early corporate sales, and although very exciting, led us to the realization that we really need to have the full value cycle that's required for customer success. And that's what we're doing at Farm Boy now, our first true tier 1 customer. We're delivering the I.Liv Lead for Outcome solution with the initial group of identified change makers from the HR and centralized project delivery teams, with the full intent of licensing the program for internal scaling across their organization. We're not just building another wellness app, we're engineering a tech-powered movement that's set to disrupt the $96 billion leadership development industry. This huge industry that's growing fast is growing fast, yet has less than 50% management believing in the outcomes of the existing programs. Many reports are calling for change, and then this gap creates a need for innovation and opportunity for high-impact, scalable solutions that drive real-world application, like I.Liv. We are the team uniquely positioned to bring this vision to life. As former leaders in high-tech consulting and retail, we've lived the challenges we are solving, and we've lived the solutions that didn't help us along the way. As a CEO, I'm bringing to the table 20 plus years of technology and business expertise, and my co-founder Idana brings operational expertise from her career at Accenture and the OPS. Rounding out the team, we have a dedicated CTO and a software engineer that led the development of our tech platform with security and privacy by design, making it ready for scaling. And recently, we've added strategic digital marketing support that we're looking to grow. To date, we've built our tech platform and the implementation model, and we've closed our first corporate tier 1 sale, as I mentioned, with the intention of annual licensing. Our current focus is to build on this initial traction and close more tier 1 sales. We need to hire a dedicated sales lead and increase our marketing budget to get that done. And then with this expanded team, we want to shift focus to tier 2 sales so that in year 3, we can really primarily focus on tier 2 sales growth and grow our total customer count to 36. And this will be supported by a team size of 11 in total. In future, we also want to evolve the mobile app and with the use of AI technology with a contextualization engine that delivers the best next action with respect to context and personal preferences. We're focusing on building a very efficient and profitable business and are looking to raise $350,000 for marketing budget and dedicated sales support. I.Liv helps organizations keep their high performers and keep them high performing without the trade-offs or collateral damage for sustainable performance. Thank you so much for listening, and I welcome all of the questions and comments.
Great. Thank you, Sandra. So I think that was about 12 minutes. Just from a timing perspective. So let's start with questions. Megan, do you want to go first?
Sure. Can you kind of explain a bit more about how you might compete with other task management solutions like Asana?
Yes. Yes. Do you want me to answer the questions? In the other rounds, we have just been kind of hearing them, but so I don't want to over talk or. Yes.
This is my first.
I think you should try answering.
Awesome. Yes, we're fundamentally different than task management solutions like Asana. Asana look to build up a flow of work towards getting it done. We are helping people load their days with their priorities. So it's a fundamentally different slice and different approach that adds value to things like Asana.
Okay. And then I had another quick question. So why are women more impacted by the pain of like burning out than men?
Well, I've spent a lot of time asking myself these questions and talking to a lot of people and doing research on it. So I offer the answer from this perspective. I think that fundamentally there's nurture and nature element to it. We traditionally take on and biologically are programmed to take on nurturing roles and do it all for helping others. And this very much drives to our early career success at school and in the early stages of career. This is what makes us successful. As the demands of life pile up all around us, this same approach we keep runs us right into the ground. And, I could talk about so many examples from personal life, not just me. my co-founder, who's also my sister, and or so many women we've worked with throughout our career that have so many stories of when this happens and what kind of damage, collateral damage we call it, you end up paying for it. And men, of course, can have these challenges too, and the solution also works for men as well. That's why it's gender agnostic. We are really targeting starting with women and going out. But I think the women really have the unique challenge, and ultimately data really supports this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great. Sonny?
Awesome pitch, Sandra. Definitely, something that I get, well, I wouldn't say I can resonate with, but in the sense that, we've seen in regards to some of our startups and burnouts and things like that. So, I see that you're definitely tackling a very impactful problem there. Curious to hear, I'm not sure if you went through it during the pitch or I may have missed it. Would you mind going through what's the difference between the tier 1 and the tier 2 product?
Yes, no problem. Yes, I went probably very fast to it. So it's about just the size of the organization for
Okay,
the
got it.
licensing. Yeah. So tier 1, we're currently looking kind of up to 1,000 employees. Tier
Yeah.
2, we are around 3,000, and imagine that you can scale above that.
Okay, awesome. No, that's super helpful. I have a couple of other questions in regards to your tech. How does that stack up against your competitors, and what's kind of like the next iteration of the platform that it might look like?
Yeah, I mentioned, I get it's at the start of the presentation. So I was thinking about, when we think about our competitors, we're really thinking about the current ways the organization is solving for this challenge and where they're putting the budgets towards it, which is a number of the individual solutions and internal groups and leadership programs, and that all, like, I always want to, I never want to speak negatively of the impact that they're trying. People are trying really hard to solve this problem, and they do incrementally move the needle forward. We just think that we're looking to do this more proactively and holistically at the org-wide level. So that's like the big fundamental difference. And absolutely, we see an evolution for the product itself. The platform has is developed as a full tech stack solution. It has the full engine, the structure that supports a user and organization right now. The evolution we see potential is with some integrations. And secondly is the use of AI. And we have a kind of a three phases that we can implement AI, that we have an idea to evolve with AI, but they all require also fundamentally more data. So we are collecting the data in a way that's building towards this, and with more as we build on the traction, we will put it into action in the platform.
Got it. Okay, no, that's super helpful. And then my last question is more so around the fundraising. Are you currently raising a pre-seed round?
So
Or
we
is
are
it you said-
preparing
Okay.
for our first pre-seed round. Yes. So
Got
far
it.
we have bootstrapped the solution and the go-to-market and everything done to date.
Yep.
And we are now preparing to raise our pre-seed round.
Got it. And a follow-up question to that, is $350,000 enough in regards to from getting from where you are right now to your next set of milestones? And in regards to runway, how much does that bring you?
Yes, great question. We think it's enough to support the traction that we are looking to build on. So we more think of it as a boost in the beginning to get us to those the year 2 and year 3 sales.
Yeah.
We would have to think now out of that, how would we fund? And so I think that gives us the traction that would give us the results that we presented today that are projected. We would have to fundraise again for the boost for the technology development piece.
Got it. And in regards to the runway, any sense
The runway
on
this would clear us for the year 3 into the year 3,
Okay,
as long
got
as
it.
we're getting the revenue that we project.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right, then switching gears a little bit. Feedback on the pitch itself, Megan?
Yeah, so I have a few notes. So I will say I'm a natural skeptic, so don't take offense to anything. I definitely resonate with the pain. I feel like I am Jane, to be perfectly honest, turning 35 in a couple of months. So it hit home a bit too hard.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think that it would be great, especially for me. This is my first time hearing the pitch. So I would like to see a bit more balance between the problem and the ROI for the individual user or employee with the problem and the ROI for the actual business that would be paying for the license. I think you could just add in a bit more from the corporation's perspective on, okay, like I understand the cost of turnover and losing people, but then more on some initial results you've seen on how the organization has benefited from their investment. Even if this has been mostly through like pilot testing, I think it would just be great if you can showcase some of those stats.
Yes, if I can just ask, follow up or add a little bit. So to date, we have done this with individual participants. So we are just launching our first pure corporate play, right? So we haven't been able to collect the data just by design, by definition of the stage we're at. So we've been collecting individual outcomes. That's what we shared here because we're data obsessed and understand the power of them. Individuals themselves, we've saved so many of those from resignation. So actually, that's probably something we can show. Perfect. Okay. And then it's just, but there's significant, and I say it just quickly. So I don't know. I just want to ask if you didn't hear it or it's not good enough. And that just to clarify for us, so there is research that links these types of outcomes to what relieves the pain pressures. And there's significant research on that. So we were kind of saying, okay, until we get to this scale, we're chasing these, we're using research to link. And we will be looking to build on this ourselves. We're just not there yet. So I just wanted to ask, are we on the right path, or is there something more that we can do? Yeah.
I think you're on the right path. I think that, of course, like at the early stage, you're going to have to be making a lot of estimates and you're making a lot of assumptions, but just try and showcase in your pitch that you've done customer discovery and you've actually talked to the corporates and understand their point of view along with the employee's point of view, and hopefully can build in some evidence or willingness from them to actually buy and pay this significant price. I also, of course, the immediate assumption I think most people would have upon hearing the pitch is, okay, is this just going to be one more thing added to my day that I'm going to have to fill out something else? So I think trying to showcase some early results that you've had from testing it with the users too, of this actually works in their workflow, it is helping them long term, kind of how they're using this more than they would use other tools to try and manage the same kind of workload. And that was part of why I asked how you're competing with Asana or those sorts of things. I think that it's just, there's a lot of different potential solutions that target pieces of this problem. Yours is meant to kind of be the full scale. So I just would like to know a bit more about how you're different and how people are actually adopting that different approach. I also would like a bit more information on the internal scaling model that you have in mind. And again, who have you talked to that gives you confidence that you'll actually have people internally that have the motivation to drive this for you? You will be depending on these change makers. So of course, there's going to be a lot of elements of customer success management of how do you equip those change makers with the right kind of education tools and the right kind of motivation to actually put in this work. And I had a lot of the same questions as Sunny on the ask and the runway, and the 350 does seem kind of low, but your business set. I think that was basically it. And then if you have time, maybe carrying over the Jane example throughout more of the pitch deck. So for me, as again, first time seeing it, I was trying to track what does this look like for the user and what does this look like for the business? So perhaps you could kind of carry Jane's story and say, Jane starts using the tool. Here's how she uses it in a day. And then here's how Jane's corporation benefits from her using it on the long term, just to kind of showcase that through.
Yeah, I like that suggestion for sure. Thank you.
Great. And Sonny, do you have feedback on the pitch?
Yeah, no, a lot of my feedbacks kind of are of the same magnitude as
Aligned, yeah.
Megan's, in the sense that it'd be nice to see the user journey, because obviously as myself, I would like to obviously understand how that works. So having that user experience and how that impacts me, in my opinion, would be greatly helpful. Also, again, on the track record in regards to what you've built throughout the pilots, kind of illustrating what those results are and how potentially that could get a lot bigger as you scale as well. I'm just thinking from my perspective, as we're our impact investors, that's something that we'd like to see as well in regards to how much, let's say, an employee has gotten a lot better, or how much reduced burnout. If you have access to that type of data to be able to showcase that case off, just given the fact that that's kind of how your value add for the organizations. I'd like to see more about, I guess, the technology or your defensibility on regards to how you are going to win the battle versus your other competitors, and speaking more about the competitors as well. I feel like that's, I know you touched upon it a bit,
Yeah.
but I'd love to hear more in regards to that, just given the fact that, you know, it is a space that there's a lot of noise in, from my understanding. Be good to understand like what your unique value proposition to all the organizations are, and how you will ultimately be the winning horse.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Great. And I'm just, Farron, I'll give you the last word. So I thought, so I haven't seen your full pitch before, but I thought that was much stronger in terms of the economic value proposition than the shorter versions that I've seen in the past. So I thought that was a great shift for you. I do agree a little bit more, and it's going to be a challenge because your pitch is right at the edge. So you're going to have to look at how you're going to shorten down a few things. But I do agree a little bit more on why your technology works. So if you haven't tested it at scale with customers, with corporations, but you have data that, you know, you've avoided burnout or resignations in X% of the users of your platform so far. That sort of thing helps. The proof points that, because I do have I do know a lot of the data around this issue of the leaky pipeline. So I think you might be able, I know that not everybody does, but you might be able to spend a little bit less on the leaky pipeline in order to spend a little bit more on why your solution really fixes the problem. Because I am someone who abandons solutions pretty quickly. You know, and this is going to work if it's sticky. So something around that, I think, would be helpful in the pitch. Okay. Farron, last word.
Thank you. I just want to say it's a big new version from what I've been saying previously. It's still a lot of great work, Sandra and Dana, and you can, because I have bias, because I've been with you ladies from the beginning.
Yes.
So I can see the data points has been adding more and more into this new version. But definitely agree. Like, I think a lot of it's already been covered. I think this data point is going to be very strong, which you actually spent 4 slides really talking about, you know, why Jen is having the issue, the problem. Like, that actually take you a lot of time.
Yep.
That's why, like, you kind of actually getting really rushed at the end on the other slides. And I saw you remove the competition slides. And then also the scalability, defensibility, that could be a really good things, as Jen and Sony, they both mentioned. It could be added in, because investor wants to know, like, why the customer going to be so sticky with you, like why Farm Boy tomorrow is not going to use somebody else. We are the right one and the only one going to stay with them for a longer term. So that will be really needed to add it into your presentation. And once you have these economic data points added in, you won't need 4 slides, like that much time to really explain. Because I know, like, you've been hearing other comments like, we don't understand problem, like, so you spend quite a bit efforts on that part. But that's a big chunk of time. Now kind of shrinking the other parts. Yeah, we're getting there. Thank you for the big new version. It looks beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's why we got, it's like we feel every week huge progress, and then next, what to do next, and that's what's been getting us so much improvement. So we really appreciate the feedback, the comments. They're always driving the next version. Yeah, thank you so much for the time.
Great. Thank you, everybody. And because you are the only pitch, that's it for today. And you all get half an hour back for your day.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks.
Awesome.
Have a
See you,
great
everyone.
morning.
Good
See you
weekend.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Where's the stop recording?